Shan and Tam fam, welcome to the Real Talk podcast. On this podcast, we talk about real issues. We talk about parenting, love, family, friendships, and everything in between.
It is our hope that you will journey with us through some critical conversations. We would like for you to drop us a comment, to share the conversation, and to let us know what you would like to see us talk about on Real Talk.
Welcome back, Shan and Tam fam. We have another exciting episode for you today with another special guest. We have with us today Kerry Wilson, who is a behavioral management consultant. And Kerry has a wide range of experience working as a registered child and youth worker. She's a founder of S.E.R.F, S-E-R-F, an organization centered around cognitive and behavioral strategies for young people. And Kerry just overall has been creating quite a positive impact on individuals regarding self-care, personal evolution, and societal reintegration. Those are two big words, Ishan. But
I know.
this just tells you
She's a
how much
powerhouse.
of a powerhouse this lady is, and we are so grateful to have her with us today. She's a mother, managing director. She is a boss lady, right? And so we are grateful to have a little bit of our time today just to talk about some issues around, parenting. And as Shannon and I have been very transparent with everyone since we've started our platforms, we have children with special needs. And they are indeed quite special with varying abilities. And so today's an opportunity for us to delve into sort of another bit of this type of lived experience with Kerry, and for her to give us her perspective from her professional lens. So welcome, Kerry. Thank you so much.
Oh, thank you for having me. I'm so appreciative. This is I think you guys will be my first one of doing this kind. So I'm
Oh,
excited.
Wonderful.
that's great. That's great. Thanks for being with us, Kerry.
No problem.
So
Thanks
tell
for
us a
having
little
me.
bit about yourself, Kerry, and your business and what you do.
I'll tell you first about myself. So my name is Kerry Wilson, and I am a mother of four young kings. And
Oh,
I
wow.
have been raising my four boys by myself for all their life.
Mm-hmm.
And I will tell you, my oldest is 29 and my youngest are twins and they are 13.
No,
And
wow.
yeah,
No,
yeah,
Kerry.
big age difference. I know, I know.
You're talking and I'm like, oh my gosh, and you're still alive. So,
Right?
Yes, and they're still thriving and all of them are doing well. I do have my last set are twins, and they're all boys. But one of my twins was born with a disability, but we didn't find out um, what the disability was till he was about 7.
mm,
Yeah, so and then by 9 he couldn't walk anymore. So we've had a lot to deal with and
wow.
becoming now we are a part of I call it the Ability Exceptionality Society, which
Mm-hmm.
it's been eye-opening for me as to how much I know that we know that Black people have so many injustice, but we, like the disabled community children, have even more. There are
Mm,
not a lot of accessibilities for them everywhere we go now because he's no longer walking. I have to call ahead and see if they're really accessible.
yes,
There's a
Right.
yes.
lot of things now that he cannot do unless there's somebody there with him. I have to try my best to in every situation, try to adapt it to him so that he feels included in some shape or form. So
Right.
it's been
Mm-hmm.
a learning experience for me because, like I said, he was walking for all of his life until 9. So the disability that he had before he stopped walking was he was very like weak muscles, and
Okay.
he was always
Mm-hmm.
like falling.
Yes.
Okay.
And
Okay.
yeah, always falling and hard to get up and hard to walk, but he was still walking. So yeah, so he was still able to do, everything,
Mm-hmm.
just again with a little bit of assistance. But now he's gone back to full assistance. So
Okay.
now I've gone back to being a full caregiver again. Because it's
Mm-hmm.
gone back to being a full caregiver. So that I have to wrap my mind around all that. So it's a lot. And on top of that, I'm still, working, taking care of the other kids, family, everything. So I definitely overstand immensely what mothers have to go through, what entrepreneurs have to go through. As I'm a baby entrepreneur, I just started with my business, which is
Mm-hmm.
I am a behavior management consultant, and I help children and youth and families navigate the behavior management world in order to alleviate challenging behaviors. So I'm just here as a support system to help our Black families. My niche is Black families because
Yes.
culture. I want us to be able to see ourselves through culturally sensitive lens that we don't always have access to. So, but I do work with everybody, but my niche and my heart is working with the Black
Black
community
families.
to help
Mm.
us, just navigate all of this because it's not easy, and
Mm-hmm.
we all know that the systems are against us, and we all know
Mm-hmm.
that we have to fight harder. So it being me being able coming from both lenses where I have the professional background as well as the lived experience, it's just I'm a double triple whammy for you guys. Support
Right.
out there for you guys. So
Yes.
so that's why I started my business. It was really because my son was diagnosed with that, and I had to figure out a way to be able to incorporate my skills, but be there for him. Because of what I realized is I would be working 9 to 5, killing out myself to be paying people to take care of him.
Right.
Mm.
So I refused to do that.
Right.
So I ended up, figuring out how to be able to be at home with him and be there for him, as well as doing my business. And now I work as well, but I work from home as well. So I'm,
Okay.
yeah. So
Yeah.
that's my little nutshell with
Wow.
Kerry Wilson, as well as the professional, as well as the mom.
Wow. I applaud you, Kerry. Just listening to you, I'm like, you have so much in you just from your own lived experience and your professional experience. And I'm thinking to myself, how do you balance, right? I know that we're going to get into the piece on like clients and your work with families, but you mentioned that you're a single mom, right? So how do you balance? Do you have a community of support? Because I'm sure with caring for your son with special needs and with his abilities, do you have a village that you can call upon to support you when you need a break?
Yeah, definitely. And definitely have to create at least a few people to
Mm-hmm.
support you if you can. And what I've realized as, being a mom and being a single mother for all these years is I have to take care of me, and I have to do things for myself. I have to
Yes.
put myself first, because
Yeah.
if I'm not well in mentally, physically, emotionally, I'm not going to be the best mother or caregiver for these children. So I definitely have learned over the years to I have alleviated the mom guilt. There's no more mom guilt in my mouth, in my mind,
Mm-hmm.
in my soul. There's no more.
Right.
That's
Um,
good.
That's good. So Shan and I are on the road to do that. We're
Oh,
on
we're
that road.
busting out. You're
Yeah.
busting out with that.
yeah, no more mom
No
guilt.
more.
So because I just understand that it's important for me to do the things that I enjoy, and to take time away. And my I really thank God, like God created this situation, because
Mm,
my big boys are a big help. And I don't necessarily have to get babysitters or that sort of thing, because
That's
my big boys
awesome.
are there. And when they still live at home with
Right.
me, because I don't,
Mhm.
I've also eliminated the shackles of the generational curses of thinking that our children, once they reach 18, they have to leave our home and
Mm.
fend for them and fend for
For
themselves.
themselves.
Yeah.
So as
Right.
long as I always tell my boys, as long as you're doing what you're not a burden to me, or you're not making, as being a grown men, as long as
Yeah.
you're not a burden and you're adding and you're helping to the household and you're helping your life and doing
Right.
your life, you could stay with me as long as you want. I
Yes.
don't have a problem. I do not
Right.
have a problem with that. And my big boys are very, very helpful towards the younger ones. And, you know, that's where, yeah, that's my main source
Right.
of support. But I definitely let them live their lives, and you know what I mean? They're not a caregiver. They're
Right.
Yes.
just
Right.
they're just big brothers. They're not a
Right.
caregiver, and
Right.
they're not father figure, because again, we get mixed and mingle single mothers when we have boy children. We get mix and mingles, cross signals,
Yes.
wanting to treat our boys like they're our partners in life,
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
and they're not. So they have their own lives, they have their own things that they do, and they're just big brothers, and they're a part of the family, and they support in those areas.
That's
So
wonderful.
yeah, so that's my
Yeah.
bed. I have my mom, she's helpful, and if I really need to call on my sisters, and my friends, so I do, over the years, have created that. I
Mm-hmm.
now have not gotten into having aides come in, which
Mm.
I know I'm gonna get there.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Haven't
Right.
I haven't gotten there yet.
That's
Yes.
okay. Right.
That's
So
okay.
Yeah.
so I pretty much do the majority of
The
um
caregiving.
yeah, the caregiving for him.
Right.
But for me, like I told him, at a point in your life, you're going to have a lot of people helping you and strangers. So for now, until mommy can do it, until mommy can't do it, or
Mm-hmm.
mommy needs help, I'm going to be here to help him, because I have to bathe him and all that stuff. So
Yeah. And the
yeah.
good thing about it too is that, as you've said, you know when you need that time for
Yes.
yourself to kind of step away as well, right?
Yes.
Which
Yeah.
is
Yes.
important.
Yeah.
So, something you said caused me to want to jump into now, maybe the professional side of what you do. And just to ask you about
Mm-hmm.
what are some of the like most common issues that you have to deal with in your professional space when, families approach you for help with the young people, children, various ages. What are some of the most common things that you're seeing right now?
So it has really changed from when throughout my 20 years plus of experience. These I would say the past 3 years, what I'm noticing, and I do work in my daytime job, I work with Black families as well. So what I've noticed in our areas are suicidal ideation,
Mm,
um,
Mm-hmm.
wow.
gender identity issues,
Mm-hmm.
and also behavioral, of course. Is always, I don't think, until we really kind of grasp what that means as being a parent,
Mm-hmm.
behavioral
Mm-hmm.
issues will always be an issue, I believe. So that's always a commonality that's there throughout my 20 plus years, is the parenting aspect of it, and understanding that parents you have to get help, and what is the biggest issue is we're reactive in the Black community instead of being proactive.
Yeah,
So what
that is so
happens is,
true. And
yeah,
nothing is wrong with seeking and accessing help.
yeah, exactly. And it
There's no
can
shame
even,
in it.
no shame. And I think this is where we have to alleviate, why I also started my Thursday night conversations, is to alleviate some of that,
Mm-hmm.
to let go of the shame, let go of the we can't share our business kind of mentality, and to really take heed to the help and the resources that are out there,
Mm-hmm.
especially coming from our own. Do you know that
Mm-hmm.
I even struggle with Africans taking on my services? They would
Wow.
prefer to go to a white agency or a white group instead of And we are all African from the diaspora,
Right.
whether we feel it or
Mm-hmm,
not, whether we
mm-hmm,
identify it or not. We are all the same skin color. We are all the same culturally
mm-hmm,
sensitive lens. We just come from different aspects of our culture. So I
mm-hmm.
would think I would still, even if I was not African born, I would still go to an African person to help me if there was something that, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
Because
yeah,
in some shape or form, we're going to be able to connect in some shape or form.
yeah.
So that's my biggest struggles is those three areas because with the gender identity is we come from a biblical background, most of
Right.
us. And that's still a struggle.
Yeah,
Um, you know what I mean? That's still a struggle in our society
yeah.
and in our cultural group. Suicidal ideation, self-harm, those are on the rise in our community with our children, and I have to heed the warning. They're coming younger. They're
Oh,
starting younger. It's 10 and up. Um,
wow.
Absolutely.
So we have to be aware of what is going on with our children and what messages are out there. And it's also definitely because of so much access, that
Yeah,
we when we were young. And maybe that's why suicide ideation within our culture when I started was not this big.
yeah, yeah,
Or even gender identity issues weren't either as well.
yeah.
So, and again, it could be because we weren't accessed, so it was more hidden. It was more, you know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah, that's exactly what I was thinking as you were speaking about that
Mm-hmm.
with the increase in access, there's so much more exposure
To
to,
different things.
yeah, to so many different things, right? And so that kind of bleeds into, whereas maybe in our time, you definitely didn't have as much access. There was no internet for as long as I think
No.
up to when I went to university, probably
Mm-hmm.
is when, and so what your world's view was very contained, like it was very small, right? You would see things on TV, but then also it was filtered, right? Um,
Yeah,
but
very filtered.
yeah, very
Mm-hmm.
filtered. And
You
so
couldn't even watch any shows that had cursing, that had
no,
No.
any
no,
These kids have so much access right now to the internet.
so
yeah,
much access. Oh my goodness, it's crazy.
yeah,
And
yeah,
access that they're not even wanting, they're not,
Yeah.
it's popping up because they search for one thing, so it's
Yeah.
just really, really difficult. So that's what I've been, uh, working with and working and younger, definitely helping parents, address the behaviors of their children and, just helping them relearn because what happens is I think we forget that our children cannot get better and be better if we don't change our ways. Like they are a
Mm.
reflection of us,
right.
and we have to, especially when they're young, they're definitely a reflection of our parenting skills.
Mm-hmm.
We don't want to admit that, and we struggle with that label, but it is what it is. And we have to
Mm-hmm.
accept, the quicker we accept it, the easier it is to get help and relearn and do better.
Real talk. Real talk.
So you're not necessarily working with the children themselves, but with the parents on a
As well.
coaching, or you're working with the family unit.
That family unit. It depends on the client's needs. I definitely, when it comes to children, I do not work with them separately. It will
Okay.
always include the parent because I can't make any kind of leanway because what will happen is they will start to gravitate to me and only listen to me and what I'm
Mm.
so I have to deal with the parent and I have to include the parent in the
In
what
the
I call the plan of
conversation.
care.
Mm,
Mhm. Makes
Because
sense.
yeah, what I do is individualized plan of care. So let's say you called me and you're like my last client was having difficult with her 6-year-old, not following through, getting in trouble at school, having some emotional issues because of situations that were happening at home. Um,
Mm-hmm.
so I went in there, assessed the situation, and made a plan for them of steps and tools that they could work on. I showed them, I went in there, did home visits, and I went in there and I showed them the tools. I, interacted with the youth or with the child and the parent and just sort of helped her. I do weekly meetings, just to say, how's it going? How are the tools? Are you practicing them? And it can only work if you practice the tools
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
consistently,
You have to
consistent.
be consistent.
Yes.
So that is our issue with parents as well, is we try something, we're like, oh, it didn't work.
Yeah.
Yes. I'm
Yeah.
done.
This is a bad child, or this is, he's not listening. And I'm just like, oh my goodness. You know how long it takes for us to create a habit? It takes at least 30 days.
Yeah.
Oh,
So
Yeah.
wow.
to
Yes.
break and relearn that you've been doing for, let's say, 6 years of this child's life, it's at
It's
least
gonna
going to
take
take you
time.
more
I
than
know. It's not gonna happen overnight.
Mm-hmm.
exactly. Or the 30 days that I mean, the 2 months or three, I have a 2 month package, a 4 month package, and a 6 months package.
Okay.
Those are nothing. We need at least a year into really, of consistency to really 6 months you're starting to make some
Wow.
headway, and by the next 6 months you're just practicing and you're
Yeah.
just
Mm-hmm.
sure that it's working, and you're making sure that you have now changed your mindset and not reverting back to your old ways. So
Mm.
that's what I'm trying to do for our community.
Right. Right.
Yes. That's
Trickling.
amazing, Kerry. That is amazing. And something that you said to me, um, that I'm taking from this conversation is that we need to be proactive and not reactive
Yes.
to securing help and seeking supports for our children.
Yes. And that's what my S.E.R.F means. It means stop, evaluate, reassess, and follow through with your life.
Right.
Oh, that's
So,
awesome.
yeah, so stop what you're doing,
Mm-hmm.
especially when we are about to react. Evaluate, should I say this? Is this a thought? And this is not even something that you have to speak. It is something that you can do mentally. Do I need to say this? Can I say this a different way? Okay, now reassess it before you implement it and then
Mm.
follow through with it. So that's definitely why I came up with the abbreviations for my business, is because I really wanted it to be proactive instead of reactive.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
There's something as you were speaking that came to mind, and I wanted to ask you this. At what point do you think parents should sort of step away or kind of step outside of what might be considered like the cultural pressures and or cultural norms about how, we rear the kids or others' opinions about what's going on with the child to actually now actively seek that help? And maybe I'll put it into context for you because I remember like when my son was young, much younger, and he would exhibit certain behaviors and um, you know, like family or friends would say, "Oh, in just bad man, in just rude," right? Or and
Mm-hmm.
not and kind
Yeah.
of brush it off.
Brush
You
it
know what I
off.
mean?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And to say that, oh, that's something that he's gonna grow out of, or you know, he'll be different. And there was something just like in my gut as a mother that kind of
Mm-hmm.
said to me, no, like there's something more here. And I need to look into it. And
Like to minimize your concerns.
yeah, and that in itself was a major thing for me because when you talk about like the guilt and the shame, like for me to really now kind of go against the grain of everything that I know, the people who surround me and so on, to say I'm going to go down the route of investigating exactly what is going on here. And lo and behold, I did get answers, right? And it allowed me to be able to better understand and better support this special child. So, like, I would want you to kind of talk to the listeners about what are the things that you should really kind of pay attention to, or at what point would you say to somebody, get some help, try to figure out what's going on here?
I think definitely what you said, you first of all, follow your gut instinct as a mother, as you, the one being around that, or parent or father, where being around that child 24/7, you know your child best. So listening to outside people, whether it be professionals or not, always try to follow your gut and do your own research first and your own understanding of what's going on. And then if it is affecting your child in any shape or form, whether it be at school, whether it be at home, whether it be out in the community, that is when interventions need to happen. Because what happens is like you said, if you would have brush it off and listen to the other the family members that are not aware. Some people, you have to understand, they're not aware of um, their own insecurities, their own situations, more so to be aware of yours, to be
So
giving
true.
advice.
Yeah.
So if you listen, it would have been and waited till something again reactive happened, then it would have been either out of your hands or harder, or the outsourcing of resources, because the younger that they are, the more resources are there for them. Then the older they get, less and less resources are out there for them, and especially free resources. So definitely, I would say that listen to your gut, know your child, and if it is effective, any behaviors that you see are affecting your child in any shape or form, there is no harm in just getting an opinion, a second opinion. If
Yeah.
you may think that there's something, even if they say to you, no, 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 Carrie, it's fine. As I'll give you an example,
Mm-hmm.
from my twins were born, I knew something was wrong with one of the twins. I didn't know what was wrong, but I knew something was wrong. So every doctor visit, I said, something is wrong. We need to check this. We need
Wow.
to check that. We need to check this, until by 7 is when they listened and
Wow.
sent out and had to send out his information to America to get the
Wow.
diagnoses. Canada couldn't even figure it out.
Wow.
So, so if I didn't, and another thing that I want to be clear is, in all those doctor visits, I was getting him supports coming into the house. He had occupational, he had physio. This is before we even figured out what was
Oh, wow.
going
So
on.
you were already on it because you knew something was going on. So you already started being proactive.
But also remember too, I also come from the background of my
Right.
profession.
Yes.
So I also had that skill already. So for other parents who don't necessarily have that, then
Mm-hmm.
all I would say for you guys is getting a second opinion, following your gut, and anything that you notice may be hindering your child in any shape or form in any aspects of their life, then get a second opinion and reach out and get support.
Awesome.
Call
Love
me.
that, Carrie.
Yeah. Yeah. Call Carrie.
Listen, we're
Definitely
gonna
call.
call you. Yes. Carrie, you
And
have a wealth, a very vast, of professional and lived experience. Just your story alone, can save so many lives. Just hearing your experience of being a single parent, your child with special needs, and you're balancing, you're speaking about your story, and
mhm.
you're providing the service. I mean, anyone would be blessed to have you to come in to support. We want you to talk a little bit to the listeners as to how they can connect with you. I know you spoke about your packages, but how can people reach you if they would want to access your service?
So you can definitely reach me on IG at Surf Your Life, S-E-R-F, Your Life, all one word, and also at surfyourlife@gmail.com. I also have a website at www.surfyourlife.com, and I have a WhatsApp phone number and a WhatsApp access as well. So if you go on my Instagram, all that information is there. And yeah, you can reach me at any point, any stages. And even if I do right now, I'm offering 15 minutes free consultation. So if you might have questions or concerns or something that you want to sort of, kind of unpack, then definitely take advantage of that 15 minutes. Even if you're not sure what I do, take advantage of the 15 minutes and just ask your questions. And if I always say I am a vast of resources, and if I am not the fit for you, I will definitely help you, direct you to who will be, or to give you some resources to help you in some shape or form. I'm never going to be like, oh, okay, I'm no, then go out there and keep looking. No, I will
Right.
definitely help. I would definitely.
Absolutely. And a question that comes to mind, Kerry, do you, if a listener should come and want to connect with you, are you covered under insurance? Would they be able to utilize their workplace benefits or insurance to access your service? Is that something that you offer?
Not right now, not the
Okay.
workplace connection. I have to figure out how to even do that. But
Okay.
for now, it is, fee for service.
Right.
So it's I do e-transfers, cash, those kinds of things right now,
Okay.
Okay.
until I figure out that aspect, that piece of it.
Okay. Awesome.
And when Kerry says that she has not just a vast amount of knowledge on her part, but she offers the resources for individuals, she does that in a way too. For instance, with her Instagram lives every Thursday night. Talk to us about that, Kerry, because you have a wide variety of guests talking about different topics. It's always engaging. Talk to us a little bit about what that's about.
And that one literally that's God gift. Like that literally just came to me because really it's not, you know what I mean? It's not like I'm going
Mhm.
out there and promoting my business every minute on. It's really Convos with Carrie just came up with. I really wanted our Black community to be able to have a safe space where they can talk about topics that are taboo and non-taboo, but to break those chains of shame, break the chains of like not knowing and not wanting and not having a resource to reach somebody to reach out to. So that is why the topics are vast. It's not just of what my specialties are.
Right.
And I've also done um, because I am a baby entrepreneur and I feel like it's so amazing that I've opened up my last Thursdays of every month to entrepreneurs coming on, Black owned businesses coming on and sharing their business. Because for that part of it, I feel that we need to know that there's more out there than just, and I'm not knocking these businesses, but I just want our up and coming entrepreneurs or even seasoned entrepreneurs to know that there's more than just here, food and
Absolutely.
Yeah.
yeah, the typical what Black people go into because we
Yeah.
think we're good at that, we know how to do that, so let's go to that.
Mm-hmm.
I want
Yeah.
us to be able to see that I can do what Carrie's doing. I could do
Right.
what, you guys are doing, having your own podcast. I'm sure that you guys learned this on your own, like, just
Definitely.
and
Yeah.
look at that. It's amazing because
Mm-hmm.
I was like thinking to do that too. And I'm like, oh God, it sounds overwhelming.
Yeah.
Another skill to learn.
Yeah.
Yes.
So
So,
I definitely applaud you guys, and
Thank you.
that is why I open up that platform because I want us to be able to see at any stage, any age in life, we can do whatever we put our minds to do. And
yeah.
I'll say my age because I don't care. I'm proud. I'm 45 and I started my business in my 40s and and I'm
It's
still learning.
it's the
Congrats.
fabulous 40s, Carrie. I'm right there with you, girl.
And I have no shame in that. I have no shame in my game. I have no shame shame in the fact that I am a single mother. I am raising these boys. Like I said, I have no mommy guilt shame, and I have no societal shame as well.
No, man, we have
Wonderful.
to release that. And I
Yeah.
love that. I love your positivity and I love your energy.
And
Thank
this is
you.
precisely why we do this too, because you talk about releasing that guilt and shame and talking about the taboo topics and whatever. This is precisely why we do this, and this is why we want to expose the listeners as well to what's out there. Hence, us talking to you and other guests, right, that we have on for there, because we're by no means experts in many, if not any, of these topics, except being a mother, being a being a wife, working 9 to 5. So
And
yeah,
that is an excellent thing to, because I don't have
yes,
those expertise since I don't have
exactly.
that. So
So we gotta share the wealth. Share the
yes,
wealth when
yes,
we
share the
find it.
knowledge. Share the knowledge. I love it.
But thank you so much
Thank you so
again for
much, Kerry.
joining us. And
Welcome.
so, listeners, you heard how to connect with Kerry. Her Instagram is Surf Your Life. Follow her on Instagram.
Yes.
Get involved in the IG lives and get engaged, and visit her website, surfyourlife.com. I will be putting Kerry's contact information and business information in the description box for this podcast episode. So if you do feel the need that you should be reaching out to her, you'll have all the information there. Fam, we are out. Again, this was another episode. We will see you, well, you'll hear us again next week.
Yes.
And in the meantime, you can catch up on all the previous episodes on Spotify by finding Real Talk with Shan and Tam. We are on YouTube, Shan and Tam, and on the Spreaker website, Spreaker.com, iHeartRadio podcast, on our Facebook page at Real Talk with Shan and Tam. Share the episode, fam. Share it like food. And until next time,
walk good.
Take care and walk good. Bye, everyone.
Don't forget to visit Shan and Tam on all their social media websites. At Sisters Shan and Tam on Instagram, Shan Tam Lodge-Lee on Facebook, and check out their blogs at shanandtam.blogspot.com. Tune in again next time on Real Talk.